So to get our account ready for the new year, let's go ahead and log in as an administrator or a manager of the account. Some functionalities can only be performed by an administrator of the account. If that is the case, I will let you know as I perform the task. So we've prepared a couple questions for you to ask yourself to get your account set up for the new year. One of the first things that you may want to do is just download a PTO report for all of your employees so that you know where they are in standing. To do this, you're going to come to your PTO icon at the top, and I'm going to go ahead and go to PTO Renewal. Inside here, I can see over to the left, Due for Renewal. I'm going to go ahead and switch this to All. What this does is it just shows me all of my employees and all of their standing. Over to the right, I'm going to go ahead and click the Export PTO Balances button. I'm greeted with a Export PTO Balance box. So it's asking me to please specify what I would like to export. Down below we can see the categories that I have turned on for my employees, and they're checked off. You're just going to see anything that you have turned on, and you're going to make sure that those are checked off. I'm going to go ahead and hit export. Once I open up my exported values, we can see that I have a report that shows me what's used, remaining, and allotted amounts, as well as the date range that this was for and the max hours if I had any of that information. So this just gives me a quick snapshot of all of my employees' balances at once. You'll want to go ahead and save this file for your records so that you can access it later on if you need to reference it. So once you have that file saved where you need it, we can now ask ourselves if we have employees who are on our list who will not be coming with us into the new year. So go ahead and go to your employee icon at the top, and we're just going to click View Full Employee List. This is going to give me a full shot of my employee list of who is currently active. Anybody listed here is going to be considered active. If an employee is not joining me for the new year, I'm going to want to go ahead and click the red X on the right hand side of their name to remove them from this list. Removing them from this list does not delete them forever from your profile. This will actually place them into a restore area. So down at the bottom of your employee list, we have a Restore button. When I click this, I'm actually brought into my deleted employees. So they're actually held onto in a recycling bin. I can view all of my past employees' information inside of here. If I scroll over to the right, I will be able to restore this employee back. This is great for a seasonal employee. So if you have an employee who won't be present for the year right now, but might be coming back for a seasonal run, you can go ahead and hit restore and bring their profile back in full. You'll notice there's also a delete forever option. We do not recommend that you click this. Deleting forever would remove your employee permanently from your OnTheClock account. So you'll want to go ahead and just leave them inside of this recycle bin. Employees who are in the recycle bin, you will still have access to all of their time card information. Now we've talked about how you would remove an employee, but you might have some new employees joining you for this new year. So to add a new employee, you're just going to come to your employee icon and go to your View Full Employee List again. You're interested in this Add Employee button. When I click this, I get a drop down. I can either click Add One or Add Multiple. Add One's going to bring me into that profile that I've seen before, where I can just create a general profile for my employee with their first name, last name, email address, or username, as well as a password, and save those settings. You would want to go through each setting on this profile just to make sure that they match all of your presets for your other employees. If you need assistance with this, go ahead and check out our past webinar on how to set up your employees in full with more detail. So once you're satisfied with your employee list and everything looks up to date, the next thing you might want to do is come to your PTO icon and set up those holidays for the next year. We can do this by going to PTO and then Add Bulk PTO. Inside here, we're actually presented with a screen that says Bulk Add Holiday PTO. All we want to do here is in step 1, select the employees who are going to be receiving the holidays, and then in step 2, you can select the year that you're preloading. Down below, you'll see where you can specify those hours. Over to the left, we actually list out some common holidays, and then you would just put in the number of hours for that holiday next to it. One thing to note is that we will not recognize if a holiday is falling on a Saturday or Sunday, so you will want to recognize that date that you're going to be recognizing the holiday under Custom. So you would just put that date range here and then enter in the number of hours they'll be receiving. We do have the custom fields as well, so that you can put in any holidays that are specific to you and your business, or maybe just a specific day that your business celebrates. Once you save that bulk add, you actually can see that happen in the time cards. So inside of your time cards, you will see this time card entry was bulk added on 11/1/2021 at 3:48:01 p.m. Now, if I wanted some more details, I can actually open up the time card record, and under time card notes, I will see that same information displayed. Now, as we get closer to moving into the new year, you may need a full year report of this past year that's happened. So you may need your full report for 2021, or maybe you need 2019. So if you do need a year report, we can do that in On the Clock. To do that, you're going to come to your time cards icon. Now, we have different filtering options. You might see period and employee. If you do see that these are your only two options, go ahead and click this More button next to Options. You'll be presented with more filtering. We're going to focus on custom and dates. On the Clock can pull up to 1 year of information at a time. So you can actually customize a date range. So inside here we could type in 1/1/2021 to 12/31/2021, and then that's just going to calculate and populate my time cards. Now, the custom range is only going to pull any time cards that were not previously archived. So if you have archived time cards in the past, you are going to want to go ahead and use our dates filter. To use the dates dropdowns, go ahead and click. You're just going to select the range that falls within this year. So remember, just 1 year at a time here. We'll go ahead and update that, and it's just going to go ahead and calculate. So once it's done calculating, you'll see that information presented here. We can tell that with the date ranges, it chunks this out by pay period, but we can also see that all of my archived times do show up. And I can come up to the top and I can do a print PDF of this information, and export, and I can email this information as well. Also, if I needed more information on any audits that were made to these reports, I can actually come into my More, and I can do an audit log export. The audit log export is in a PDF format, but we can see the dates and any adjustments that were made inside of here. Once I'm satisfied with my download, I'll want to go ahead again and save that somewhere for my records. And I can go ahead and just reset my format here. One other thing that you may want to do on your On the Clock account is archive your past year. And you can archive this information either through custom or dates. I do want to call out that archiving is only an administrative function. Managers cannot perform an archive. Archive will lock this information so that it can no longer be modified. So I can either archive up to a year at a time by pulling through the dates up to 1 year and then hitting archive over here. But right now I'm just going to go ahead and do this by the pay period that I'm in. You can only archive a pay period that has already passed. So when I click archive, it's just going to tell me to confirm. And then it has now archived my pay period. And in my dropdown, I can get to this by clicking the one that says archived. And now I cannot make any modifications to this pay period. Reasons you may want to archive your pay period would include things like a pay period adjustment or update. I know that sometimes at the end of the year, when you're going into a new year, those pay dates change on payroll. So sometimes you need to come in and modify your pay period dates in On the Clock. So to avoid affecting any past time entries, you would want to go ahead and archive those previous years. Another reason that you may want to archive your pay period or your time cards would include things like break additions as well as any overtime additions. So if you're changing an overtime rule or modifying a break that's auto-deducted, this will be retroactive and affect any past time cards. So in order to not modify any past time records, you would want to go ahead and make an archive of those records so that nothing changes. And those are the key things that we would like you to know to get your account ready for the new year. And we hope to see you in 2022. And now we'll open up the floor for Q&A.